If you believe a 10% annual return on your portfolio means you're winning, you are falling for the most sophisticated trap in modern finance. In fact, for the vast majority of investors, that 10% gain is a net loss in the only currencies that actually matter. Most of us are playing a game where the rules were written to keep us running on a treadmill. Today I'm going to reveal the secret ROI, used by the world's most fulfilled elite to build generational wealth without sacrificing their soul, their health, or their time. If you've ever felt like you're making more money but having less life, this is why. We've all seen the charts. We've all used the calculators. ROI, return on investment. It is the North Star of the financial world. On the surface, it's a simple, comforting math equation. What you got back divided by what you put in. It's the metric that dictates where trillions of dollars to move every single day. We are taught from a young age that a good ROI is the key to a good life. If we can just hit that magic number, we'll be safe. If we can just compound our interest high enough, we'll be happy. But here is the uncomfortable truth. Math is cold. Math is one-dimensional. Math does not account for the human spirit. Understanding your true ROI is the difference between making an informed decision and simply gambling with the limited hours of your life. We have been conditioned to look at the wrong scoreboard. We celebrate the man who made $1 million in the market, but we never ask what it cost him to get it. Did it cost him his marriage, his back health, his ability to be present at his daughter's recital? In this video, we are going to deconstruct the myth of the percentage point. We're going to look at why your most profitable asset might actually be your biggest liability. And I'm going to give you a new framework for measuring success that will change the way you look at your bank account forever. This isn't just about money, it's about the economy of your existence. The fundamental problem with how we view ROI today is tunnel vision. We have been hypnotized by the green flashing numbers on a screen. We live in a culture of more yield, more equity, more growth. But more is a horizon that retreats as you run toward it. We focus on the quantity of the return and completely ignore the quality of the life that produced it. Let's look at the great misconception through the lens of two different investors. Investor Alpha is a high-octane day trader. He manages a portfolio of short-term rentals and high-risk stocks. His annual return is a staggering 22%. On paper, he is a genius. But let's look closer at the hidden ROI. Alpha spends 70 hours a week tethered to a monitor. He is in a constant state of sympathetic nervous system activation, fight or flight. His cortisol levels are through the roof. He has wealth, but he has no utility of that wealth because he is a slave to the maintenance of the machine. He is essentially paying for his profits with his biological lifespan. Then look at investor Beta. She has a boring, diversified index fund portfolio. Her return is 7%. She spends exactly 4 hours a year looking at her accounts. She spends her mornings hiking, her afternoons working on a passion project, and her evenings with people she loves. Who is actually wealthier? If we only use the financial definition of ROI, Alpha wins. But if we use the human definition, Alpha is bankrupt. He is trading a non-renewable resource, time, for a renewable one, money. That is a bad trade in any market. There are 3 silent killers of your financial ROI that most people ignore. First, there's the fiscal leakage. Most people celebrate an 8% gain without realizing that after 3% inflation, 2% capital gains tax, and 1% in hidden management fees, their real purchasing power has only grown by 2%. You are running at full speed just to stay in the same place. Second, there is cognitive load. Every investment you own takes up rent in your brain. If you own 50 different stocks, you have 50 different things to worry about. You have 50 different points of failure. This is a massive drain on your creative energy. Energy that could be used to earn more in your primary career or to simply enjoy the quiet moments of your life. Third, and most dangerously, is the comparison trap. We don't measure our ROI against our actual needs. We measure it against our neighbor's perceived success. If the market goes up 20% and you make 15%, you feel like a failure, even if that 15% is more than enough to fund your dream life. We are letting an arbitrary market average steal our happiness. We have turned a tool for freedom into a yardstick for misery. When we focus solely on the monetary, we ignore the red numbers in our health, our relationships, and our peace of mind. We are winning the battle, but losing the war. The misconception is thinking that the highest percentage wins. In reality, the person who achieves their goals with the least amount of life force expended is the true winner. To move beyond the spreadsheet, we must understand that real ROI is a three-legged stool. If one leg is missing, the whole structure of your life collapses, regardless of how much cash you have. So you have to focus on the three legs. Leg 1, the financial return, the foundation. Let's be clear, I am not saying money doesn't matter. Money is the oxygen of independence, but we need to look at velocity and access rather than just growth. A 15% return in a retirement account that you cannot touch until you are 65 has a very different real ROI than a 5% return from a side business that puts cash in your pocket today. Real wealth is about the utility of money. Can you use it when you need it? Does it provide a safety net that lowers your stress? If your money is locked in a gilded cage of long-term illiquid assets, your current life quality remains unchanged despite your net worth. We must optimize for financial peace, not just financial peaks. We must ask ourselves, is this money making me more free, or is it just making me more tied to a specific outcome? Leg 2, the emotional return, the sleep well at night factor. This is the most undervalued metric in finance. Your emotional ROI is the impact an investment has on your mental state. There is a concept in psychology called loss aversion. The pain of losing $1,000 is twice as potent as the joy of gaining $1,000. If you are invested in high volatility assets that cause you to wake up at 3 a.m. to check international markets, you are paying a massive emotional tax. A high emotional ROI comes from simplicity. It comes from automation. It comes from knowing that even if the market drops 30% tomorrow, your daily life won't change. It's the boring portfolio that allows you to be a better parent, a more focused employee, and a calmer human being. You are trading a few percentage points of profit for years of your life back from stress-related aging. What is the value of a night of perfect sleep? What is the value of not feeling a pulse of panic when you see a headline? To the wise investor, that is the highest return possible. Leg 3, the social and legacy return. Finally, we must ask, what is the ROI of our relationships? Time is the only non-renewable resource. You can always make another dollar, but you can never make another minute. If an investment requires you to sacrifice the golden years of your children's lives or the health of your marriage, the ROI is mathematically impossible to justify. Think about the investment in experiences. Economists call this memory dividends. When you spend money on a transformative experience, a trip, a learning retreat, a gift for a loved one, that investment pays a dividend every time you recall the memory for the rest of your life. Unlike a stock, these dividends never stop, and they aren't subject to market crashes. In fact, they often grow in value as you get older. True ROI means looking at your life as a holistic portfolio. Are you diversified in joy? Are you invested in your community? Are you building a legacy of character or just a legacy of cash? If you have all the money in the world but nobody to share it with, your ROI is zero. When you start measuring your life this way, your portfolio suddenly looks a lot healthier than the charts suggest. You begin to see that the most valuable assets you own don't show up on a balance sheet. They are the connections you've built, the lives you've touched, and the peace you've cultivated. Now, we reach the core truth, the secret that the billion-dollar wealth management industry is terrified you will discover. They want you to stay obsessed with the numbers because that keeps you paying fees and staying in the system. But here is the reality. The ultimate goal of investing is not to accumulate more wealth. The ultimate goal of investing is to buy back your sovereignty. Every dollar you save and invest is not a dollar. It is a unit of freedom. It is a no to a boss you don't like. It is a yes to a spontaneous trip. It is the ability to walk away from a toxic situation. The real ROI of your life is the gap between your desired lifestyle and your current obligations. If you have $10 million, but you have $20 million worth of ego-driven expenses and debt, you have zero freedom. You have a negative ROI. You are a prisoner in a very expensive cell. The secret is alignment. True wealth is when your money, your time, and your values are all moving in the same direction. Think about the ROI of health. If you spend $500 a month on high-quality food, a gym membership, and preventative care, the financial return might look like minus 100%. But the real ROI is the avoidance of a $100,000 heart surgery and an extra 10 years of active life in your 70s. That is a return that no hedge fund can beat. It is the ultimate compounding interest. The most successful people I know aren't the ones with the highest net worth. They are the ones with the most optionality. They have structured their lives so that they never have to do anything they don't want to do. Their investments are quiet, steady, and automated. They have optimized for enough. When you define what enough looks like, you stop being a victim of the more trap. You realize that once your basic needs and moderate comforts are met, every extra dollar has a diminishing return on your happiness. At that point, the real ROI isn't in the money. It's in what you stop doing. It's the meetings you don't attend. It's the status symbols you don't feel the need to buy. It's the peace of mind that comes from knowing you are no longer for sale. This is the moment of transcendence. This is when you stop working for your money and your money starts working for your soul. As we wrap up, I want you to take a deep breath and look at your finances through this new lens. Forget the tickers and the trends for a moment and look at the life you are actually living. To achieve a real ROI, you must stop being a spectator of your bank account and start being the architect of your life. First, calculate your shadow costs. Be honest about how much of your profit is being eaten by taxes, inflation, and your own precious time. If an investment takes more than it gives in energy, it's not an asset, it's a liability. Treat your mental energy like capital. Don't spend it on low-yield stress. Second, reevaluate your principles. Are you financially rich but emotionally bankrupt? Are you so focused on the future that you are neglecting the social ROI of the present? Remember, the long run is just a collection of short runs. Don't spend your whole life waiting for a retirement that isn't guaranteed. Invest in the version of you that exists today. Third, seek alignment. Make sure every dollar you invest is a vote for the person you want to become. If you value freedom, don't buy investments that require constant management. If you value family, don't chase careers that require 80-hour weeks for a slightly higher bonus. The world will try to pull you back into the numbers game. The media will shout about the next big stock pump or the latest must-have asset class. But now you know the secret. You know that 10% is just a number, but peace of mind is a lifestyle. You know that wealth is not what you have, but who you are when the money isn't there. Investing is not about being the richest person in the graveyard. It is about being the most present person in the room today. When you master your real ROI, you stop chasing wealth and you start living it. You realize that the greatest return you can ever achieve is the ability to look at your life and realize you wouldn't trade it for anyone else's. What is one investment you've made, whether it was a hobby, a trip, or a simple savings account, that gave you a massive emotional ROI, even if it didn't make you rich on paper? Share your story in the comments below. Let's start a conversation about what real wealth looks like. I read every single one of your responses. I'll see you in the next video.